exciting Mondays, not just crew.
Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to SimFly in Darlington. It's not just crew here, and I've been lucky enough to be invited down to SimFly down at Darlington, which is a whole experience when it comes. It's not just a flight simulator; it's the whole experience from when you actually get to the airport to check in, to like passport, border control. It's the whole airline experience. All the way up to your safety demonstration, your meal service, all the way, as I say, to actually flying the plane. It's the whole immersive experience with sights and sounds like you've never seen before. So I'm just going to basically take you around the whole SimFly experience, and then we'll also get to meet Stuie himself, Stuie Ellerton, who has actually created this incredible facility here just for all of you aviation loving enthusiasts to come on down and just to take a look at everything he has to offer. Hi everybody, welcome to SimFly based in Darlington. Come with me. This is our aviation training facility that we set up. We're into our second year in Darlington of this aviation training facility, and what we tried to do is create an immersive experience for the user. We set up SimFly 2 years ago with the intention of creating, as I say, the immersive experience for young flyers, young people who wanted to come down. But what's become abundantly clear over the 2 years that we've been here now is that we've created a facility which has education at heart. So we invite schools and colleges and other educational establishments to come down and use our facilities. So this is our airport lounge. And as you can see, what we've tried to create here is the zone, that fully immersive zone. In the corner over there, we've got the travel agents, which is where we work with young students who want to become travel agents or just want to improve upon their confidence and communication skills. So we also weave into a little bit of that area what we call STEM learning, which is hot on the agenda with schools at the moment. STEM learning, STEM stands for science, technology, English and maths. So within our learning courses that we provide during the day, we try to weave in a little bit of maths and English and technology and science. Off to the left here, we have our check-in desk, and we've tried to make that as realistic as we possibly can to resemble a check-in desk at an airport. So this is where our students, we do role play here, and our students pretend that they are check-in crew, check-in staff at an airport. And again, they have to sometimes deal with role-played unruly passengers that haven't quite managed to catch their flight, or drunken passengers, that kind of thing. And the values and the work ethic that they take from here, hopefully they'll take with them when they apply for jobs working for airlines or working in an airport as check-in crew. Off to this side here, what we've got is our border force and security. Again, a very important role at an airport. So we give students here a little bit of snapshot of empowerment. When we dress them up in the security jacket, it gives them that sense of authority of, you're not coming into this country unless we've checked you thoroughly, sir. So we talk about the dreaded D word, drugs and terrorism and that kind of thing, which is an important words that should be talked about when you're looking at security training. And we try and impress on students the ability to be able to see those people that coming through security that might be carrying something that they shouldn't. So border force security training is all part and parcel of this room. And what we've also tried to create is the sounds, the immersive sounds of an airport, the departure times, even the desk that we've got here is fresh off a Boeing 737, Fiji Airlines. And with all the livery and the signs that we've got as well, again, it just puts you in that mindset, a little bit of neuro-linguistic mindset, so that when you come into this facility, it's like a real airport. That's what we've tried to create, immersing you in the experience. So this is our flight briefing area where we would talk to students about what they're going to be doing in the simulator, where they're going to be flying to. I've got a client coming in tonight who's only a young lad, and he's going to be doing a thing called circuits, which is one of the busiest training aspects of a pilot, taking off, coming around and landing the aircraft, doing it all again and again. It's called circuit bashing. So this is our flight briefing area where we talk to the students. And then if we come this way, we're going to go through into the simulator lounge. We have the 18-seater cabin with seats fresh off a Boeing 737, all the side panels and overhead lockers. And again, we've tried to make the environment exactly the opposite of a classroom. So we've tried to create this environment just as it is on an aircraft. So students get the real benefit of training to be cabin crew or flight crew in an environment which reflects exactly what they're going to come across in the real world. This is the Boeing 737 flight deck. And again, it's exactly how it is on a real Boeing 737. Everything is fully functioning, all the dials, all the screens, all the instrumentation. It's global scenery, so we can have airports departing from or into in anywhere in the world. And we are very well placed for this because we're in the centre of the northeast of England, and currently we simply don't have any competition. There's no one can offer this level of education training in the northeast of England.
Right, so as you can see, myself and Stuie, the simulator, and we've just set it, so we'll be taking off from JFK, John F. Kennedy, in New York, and we'll be getting some spectacular views over Manhattan. Hopefully get to see the Statue of Liberty. Hopefully the visibility is good. What's the weather like en route?
Visibility's good so far, matey. Yeah, looking good. We've got it programmed as a nice, sunny, clear day. So we're just going to start our takeoff roll now. 40% on the engines, let the engines spool up.
Yeah, we've got a full flight today. Obviously, the final aircraft door is closed. The captain has made his PA to the cabin. And we are ready.
Ready to rock.
Takeoff roll.
Manhattan on the skyline there. Check. It's the airport terminal at JFK. And V1, rotate.
Only.
There's the Empire State Building over there. Manhattan, downtown Manhattan.
Amazing.
We're going to take it in really low. We'll pull the throttles back there, let the engines reduce to idle.
You can even see the Chrysler Building, Empire State.
We'll just let the speed bleed off a little bit, and we'll lower the nose just to give us about 500 foot or thereabouts, right over the Statue of Liberty, which is just coming up on the nose, just over there.
Ellis Island.
So a nice little 500 feet there, which is as low as we dare go before we stick the wing into the drink.
Here's Liberty.
You can even see the wing, the American flag there. 300 feet, which is criminally low. So we'll put full power on there, stick the nose of the aircraft back up at about 12 degrees in the climb, and we'll swing it round on a 20-degree angle of bank. So in this area here, what we've tried to create is a little mini travel agents, and we have students looking on the computer on different airline websites. We've got Jet2 launched up here, but we could have TUI, EasyJet, British Airways, Virgin, you name it. And we try to weave in the STEM aspect of learning, where we talk to students about perhaps a 15% discount on a holiday because another airline next door or another travel agent next door is doing it for a 10% less. So we try to weave in a little bit of maths and technology in this area. And one of the important things that we try to impress on students here is customer relations and dealing with customers, being able to come out of your shell confidently and talk to the customer, being able to sell, close the deal. Because at the end of the day, why should they shop with this travel agent and not go next door because they're offering a better service? So communication skills, confidence skills, use of technology, use of maths, and selling a holiday with a smile.
Right, so we've had a good tour of the whole facilities here at SimFly, and as you can see, it's an absolutely excellent, it's just so exact. It's the feelings that you get when you first walk in. It's just so immersive, you know, just this area alone. This guy stood next to me, this handsome fellow, Stuie. But what I want to say is, firstly, thank you so much for inviting us down here. Everybody, not just crew, think what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
But in particular, I do.
Thank you, Simon.
Because it gets the hairs stood up on just seeing this place around, and it's all designed to bring on the youth of today, just to kind of get them familiar with the world of aviation. Doesn't matter what they do, and it could be baggage, it could be ground stuff, you know, it could be catering.
Yeah.
Not just pilots, not just cabin crew, anything to do with aviation. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs out there for them. And this is going to give them a really good insight of what career pathway they might want to follow. So thank you for bringing us down here. What I want to ask you is what your vision is for this amazing facility. Where do you want to be in years to come, and what do you want to provide for the youth? Not just the youth, but like, I mean, you get people in here in the 80s and all that going in the simulator. Yep. But like, we'll specifically target the youth. What's your vision for the future?
Vision for the future is to see SimFly become a recognised brand within the northeast of England. Purely and simply, Simon, because there's nothing like this in the northeast of England. If you want to train for the airlines, if you want to train for cabin crew, you've got to go off to the airlines, and that might be down south. If you're training as a flight crew for a particular airline, again, you've got to go down south. What we haven't got in the northeast of England is a fully immersive experience like what we've tried to create here, that tailors for individuals who have a vocation of getting into different stems of the aviation industry. You mentioned that there was thousands of different jobs in the aviation industry. Yeah. There is. And what we've tried to create here is just a little snapshot of the travel agents, of the check-in, of the security, of the cabin crew, of the flight crew, just to bring people in here and experience what it's like at ground floor level, to understand a little bit more about the aviation industry, to put them on that mindset that, yes, the aviation industry, travel and tourism, is something that I'd like to pursue either as higher education, further education, or to actually go into as a job in the future. Yeah. And we want people from the northeast to visit SimFly and gain that experience, gain that immersive experience, that they can walk out the door and think, do you know what? The aviation industry is something that I definitely want to have a go at. Even now, given that the aviation industry is very thirsty for new recruits and is recruiting on an unprecedented level post-COVID, we want to be part of that recruitment process and helping those young individuals on their way to a successful career.
Absolutely. And also, like, I'll cover a little bit later on all the advantages that when you get into the world of aviation, what that can give to you as a person, like, you know, and what you can expect to see and just witness when you're in the world of aviation. But what I want to ask you, Stuie, as well, is that how difficult is it at the moment to actually, if you did want to pursue a career and become a pilot, what kind of obstacles are in people's way, and what do people actually have to do initially just to get, like, you know, that foot in the door kind of thing?
The foot in the door starts with essentially your private pilot's license. If you're looking for a job as a commercial flight crew, at the pointy end of the aircraft, you've got to show a little bit of self-vision, a little bit of self-progression kind of thing. So it starts with your private pilot's license. So that's at any local flight school, 2 flight schools at Teesside, a couple of flight schools at Newcastle. There's regional flight schools. There's plenty of flight schools to get you started. How I started as a pilot was with my private pilot's license. My first flight was when I was 21, and I still remember it to this day. After your private pilot's license, the route into commercial aviation is a little bit easier than ever it used to be, because, as we both know, the industry now is launching things like pilot scholarship schemes, pilot apprenticeship schemes, whereby it will pay for your training. But you've got to have committed to the first steps of flying, which is your private pilot's license, essentially. And then maybe it's off to a commercial flight school to self-fund your ATPL exams, your airline transport pilot's license exams. And once you've got your airline transport pilot's exams and your PPL, you've got a thing called your frozen ATPL. And that allows you to apply to the aviation industry, who hopefully, if you're successful at the interview process, will take you on with the airline and train you further and type rate you onto a 737, A380, whatever the aircraft operators operate. But PPL is where it starts, private license.
So what was it that got little Stuie interested in aviation in the first place?
When I was a youngster, even when I was 5, 6 years old, I used to...
That wasn't long ago, really,
That wasn't long ago. It was only a couple of years ago, yeah. I used to look into the sky and wonder how planes flew. I always had a thirst for knowledge of how planes stayed up there, 50, 60-ton aircraft. How did they stay up there? And even at school, when I was going through my primary school years, in the comprehensive school years, I did projects, self-projects. But as we both know, there was no internet in those days. You had to go to the library. You had to read books. You had to read magazines. You had to ring people and talk about how does the plane fly? How is a wing formed? How does an engine work?
So they never had anything like that?
Oh,
back in our day.
Well, maybe they did, but a little bit more elementary. Yeah,
We've made out of stickle bricks.
absolutely. Yeah,
Lego.
single brick. Yeah, and glued together. So yeah, and back in the day, it was just a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
And when I was 21, like I say, my mum and dad bought me my first flight. That was it. I was hooked. I had to fly. So I worked all hours God sends, doing music tuition in schools and private tuition and gigs with bands because I'm predominantly a musician, as you know. And I put all of that money into obtaining my flying license, my private license, and then it was off to commercial flight school down in Bournemouth, and the rest is history after that. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can hear people.
Hear the tap dancers
There's
now,
people coming in already. It's never a dull moment here at SimFly. So thank you so much for inviting us down there.
Thanks, Simon.
And it's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant. Thanks very much
Cheers.
indeed for your time, buddy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cheers. Five, four, three, two, one.